Hi guys, welcome back to All Ruby, where I talk things all me, because I'm not very good at narrowing down a thought process, and hopefully I will, because otherwise this vlog probably won't go very far, because it would seem that people only want to watch one thing. Like if you do exercise, that's what you do, or something. So I'm still figuring all this out. Pig the Pug didn't seem to go down very well, but maybe it dropped mid-COVID and people weren't that interested in children's books. I'm really interested as to what you guys want to watch, but also marrying that with what I want to talk about and add to the world, because I think that I don't necessarily just want to add noise for the sake of it. But I am aware of the 10,000 hour rule, so despite feeling a little bit like an idiot sometimes for posting this stuff, I'm just going to keep trying and poking around and seeing what works. So I hope you can bear with me. Anyway, having said that, roll your introduction. No wait, you don't have one yet. That's cool. So you might notice that I have some fugly curtains behind me. We are not at home at the moment. We've gone up to the Central Coast to be near my family during this COVID period when we're staying inside, and that's quite amazing. We are staying in a house with my mum, stepdad, my mother-in-law, my husband, my baby, my dog and me. And then around the corner is my dad's family, and we're all in self-isolation, so we can go for walks together and stuff, which is really lovely. So it's really awesome being up in the bush at the moment. Anyway, that was a bit of a ramble. So all that being said, today's video is all about post-baby body. I have been wanting to do this video for a little while because I've been so candid about my baby experience, all the way from IVF through to having the baby, and like when I was having acupuncture every day, I'd post that because I had terrible sciatica. And then when Scout was born, I posted a lot of Instagram about her, and not really about her, but about my journey with understanding like what the hell was going on. So I thought I would be cool to do a post-baby body check-in, and I don't mean like check out my abs, I've gotten them back in X many months. No, what I mean is just like the stuff that I still feel like a little bit ashamed to talk about. So I'm feeling a little bit alone, right? So I'll just publicize it on the internet. So what are some changes that I wanted to talk to you about? Firstly, I just want to absolutely caveat, this is just not going to be everybody's experience. Like everything else, it's my experience. You might have some things that you relate to, some things that you don't relate to. Don't make this a judgment of your own body. I'm just reflecting on my experiences in case anything resonates with you. So there's my disclaimer. Please don't hate on me. I have had a pretty turbulent relationship with my image of my body. Don't know why. Basically always thought I was bigger than I am, and the strangest thing happened since I had the baby is I just love my body. Like I love it, and it's a bit lumpier, it's a little bit bumpier, and I don't even care. Like I've never felt so comfortable in my skin before. It's the best feeling ever. I like totally love it. You might have noticed in my Instagram stories, or like now I'm doing a few posts as well, and I'm wearing my exercise gear, but like it's just the bra and pants. And I've always seen girls wearing that, and I've always been like, oh God, I could never do that. I put on a bra and pants a few months ago, and I was just like, oh, I'm totally comfortable. I feel great. I don't care about the extra rolls from my skin from being stretched out so big. Yeah, I was really big because I actually don't have a torso. So when I had the baby, when I was pregnant with the baby, it was all baby, this tiny body, and then like my legs. Whereas like I have some friends that are taller, and so it's like baby, it's all in proportion. Anyway, that was not me. There was a lot of baby going on. Yeah, my skin stretched pretty far. If you're interested, maybe put in the comment below, are you interested in seeing the skincare routine I did while I was pregnant to try and prevent stretch marks? Yes? No? Well, this is an Instagram, but anyway, yes or no? Are you interested in something like that? I'm not sure that I didn't get stretch marks because I did a very stringent skincare routine with moisturizing, or if it's because I eat healthily, which is what my naturopath said. She said that it's all about how you eat, which will affect your skin elasticity. It's probably a combination of both. And then who knows, because like I think some people are also just more prone to stretch marks, because I don't want to say, oh, you have to eat healthy, and then some people are probably watching this going, I did eat healthy and I ended up with heaps of stretch marks. So yeah, I have no idea what stretch marks come from. Anyway, worked for me, it was awesome. So yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I feel really comfortable in my body for the first time ever, which is awesome. So like maybe 3 months after the baby came, I started losing hair, and not like a little bit, like a hormonal hair loss that I haven't had since high school. I remember like washing my hair and like the clumps of hair that would come out, you'd just be like, ugh. Anyway, so that was happening again, and I was like, hey, like this is really bad. Then I kind of forgot about it, but it kept happening, like just kept coming out so much faster than like I was making it. Anyway, so now this is the video. I've been thinking about this every day for ages. I've been really wanting to show you this. I'm gonna get a comb. I'll be back. Alright, I'm back. I am so thirsty, and the only water I've got in here is my baby's bottle. Like stealing candy from a baby. Oh my god, that's so much better. Anyway, so I don't know if I can do this. I'm not that skilled. And my hair's a bit puffy because I just washed it. But basically, yeah, I've been obsessed with wanting to share this because it's been quite distressing. And when I went to the hairdressers, they were like, oh yes, post-baby hair loss. I was like, oh, it's not that bad, is it? And they're like, yep, it is actually. So, I swear it's worse than this. Must be the light. Anyway, that is like a whole fringe was worth, and it goes all the way into there and all the way down here. All of that is brand new hair. That's baby hairs that have fallen out. That's a lot. Look at that. That's all baby hair that had fallen out and is now regrowing. Not at a rate of knots, unfortunately, but it is regrowing. Considering cutting a fringe in, like one of those kind of mod fringes, just to like justify not having any hair there. Because it's been so bad at times that, well, not at times, it just has been so bad that literally my own mother has said that she thought that I had just shaved a chunk out of my hair. It's not looking too bad. And it does this weird thing. I'll show you this, but basically, can you see that whole triangle? Like that's all hair loss. It's been so bad, yeah, that like, that there's no hair here, and so this hair is trying to kind of come forward and I get this weird kink, and it all just basically looks like I've shaved a big chunk out of both sides of my hair most of the time. It's thickening up a bit now, but it's pretty bad. Like there's just no long hair here, and that's mortifying. So like I just wanted to talk about that in case this happened or is going to happen to you too, and you're like, oh cool, I'm not a total weirdo for losing all my hair. I still have people be like, oh, is it just breakage from your blonde? No, I know what breakage from my blonde is like. This is hair loss. So I hate to think what it looks like all over my hair, but you can kind of see it. The small baby hairs are just kind of always all over there, and I hate it. But anyway, it's something I have to live through, and I wouldn't change scalp for anything of like getting my hair back. Wait, is that the right way to say it? I wouldn't have my hair back and not scalp because my hair will grow back. Duh. So that's been a big one that I wanted to share, is my hair loss. And then I was really lucky. I lost a lot of the weight very quickly, which is just genetics. You just see photos of my mum. I just look exactly like her post-baby. So I don't know if anybody else has this, but I feel like you really do take after your mother for post-baby and like your pregnancy. Like I was sick every day like my mum. So yeah, have a chat to your mum about what her pregnancy was like, because it might give you a heads up as to what to expect. And that's how I felt. And I also knew that she had a very weak pelvic floor after having me, and that is like number 2 that I want to talk to you guys about, which is my pelvic floor. And on my Instagram stories, I was for like a week or 2 doing my pelvic floor exercises. I just didn't maintain them, and it started to feel even weaker, which was really annoying. But I've maintained doing my Pilates reformer classes and floor exercises and just have not gone hard, and I think that's really helped. Anyway, I went for my first run in over 2 years last week, and I videoed it, and but it's on my iPhone, so I'm going to change format now and go to that. Okay, I like don't even know what words to use right now. I'm so happy and elated and excited, and also like trepidatious. Like maybe it won't work again tomorrow. But guys, for the first time since we started IVF, I'm on a run. I'm mid-run. I'm just taking a pause to make this video. When we started IVF, the doctor that we saw at the public clinic, Adora Fertility, which meant we didn't pay for anything except the anaesthetist and like egg storing. Anyway, that's all in my stories over in my old account, but I can do some more stories on that if anybody's interested. Let me know. But when we first saw her, and we actually never saw that doctor again, she was I don't really understand how the whole system works, but she said, because I said, is there anything I have to stop, anything I should stop doing? And she said, no, the only thing that we seem to be finding a correlation with is running on concrete, and that seems to be preventing fertility, and they're not sure why or anything. And I only run on concrete because my hips, I've got hyperextension in my hips, and so I believe that's why. But they, unless I'm really strong and my hips are in a really good healthy state, if I run on sand, they tend to come out of the ball and socket, and they're just not strong enough to hold in. And so, yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on the tendons and muscles in that area. So I don't tend to run on sand as much. I do it sometimes. But I used to always run from our house down to the beach, which is concrete, and then back up. So I stopped running. And running is my salve. It's like when I'm sad, if I'm depressed, if I'm trying to process something, if I'm happy, like I run. I always run. I used to run most days of the week. It's my main go-to exercise, as well as Pilates, which supports the body. But so we're now in 2020, had Scout in 2019. So I think we first saw that IVF doctor at the beginning of 2018, like maybe in June. No, it would have been earlier than that, as in the States in June. So it would have been around March, I think, March 2018. So 2 years ago, I stopped running because, having a baby for us was so important and something that we really wanted. So I made that sacrifice because we had been trying for like several years and not having any luck. And I just thought, okay, if a doctor who doesn't seem at all airy-fairy is telling me to stop running, I'm going to stop running. That's what I'll do. And that's a whole other discussion about the compromises that you make to strengthen and further your family and the people that you love around them. Like if I'd just been selfish and said, no, I can't stop running because it's what I do, I've always done it. These compromises that we make, and it's Eli and I are always constantly discussing and reorganizing the terms of our agreements because we change every day. We're never the same people. So it's so important to keep an open dialogue and not see compromise as a bad thing, but see it as like another step in a journey towards making a stronger relationship. 2 years ago, 2 years of not doing one of my favourite things that keeps me happy and sane. I actually don't know how I've stayed sane, and maybe I haven't, Eli. Maybe I've gone a bit crazy. And so I was super excited. I was like going to have the baby and then get back to running and everything was going to be aces. Now, I didn't think about anything about having a baby. I didn't really think about what it was going to do to my body at all, to be honest. I just didn't really go there. So I wasn't at all prepared that it wouldn't go back to normal. And I can't complain. Like, we've all got different things that it affects. So for me, it was my pelvic floor. For other people, it's their abs. My abs actually went back together really quickly, and I was like, I didn't do anything for that. And maybe it was just because I do a lot of Pilates before that. But basically, it went back together, but my pelvic floor did not. And if you're wondering, what does that mean? Like, is she just talking about weeing herself? Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's gross. No one wants to talk about it. No one wants to admit it. But basically, I was fine and nothing leaked ever, unless I was like, had a full bladder. And then like even walking at all and trying to maintain a conversation was too much pressure. And I never had any accidents, but I could just feel it and it hurt. And so I'd have to like stop talking and just get to a bathroom kind of thing. So, I just learned to manage that, and that's really awkward and awful to admit, publicly, but I'm saying it because if there's anybody else out there who's embarrassed about a situation they're in, I think it's much better to know that you're not alone, because I certainly felt pretty alone. That meant no running, just because the pressure of running was like, yeah, I tried it once, like in my bathers, running from the outdoor gym in Bondi to the beach, and I was like, well, there you go, that's what happens when I try to run. And I was feeling like the pelvic floor exercises weren't doing anything either, and that's probably just me being impatient. They probably were working, I just wasn't really seeing results, and it's such a small, bizarre muscle that it's like, how do you know if you're getting results? Because, yeah, anyway, it was totally weird and abstract. But I kept doing my Pilates at Elixir, and I believe that if I use the theory of the leg squeezy exercises that I was doing that I always promised that I'd record, and I haven't yet, that theory is that you're using all of your muscles to like pull up, and that would include the pelvic floor. So theoretically, if I apply that to Pilates, where, you know, if you're like doing some kind of lunge with your leg on the reformer and then pulling up, I would say that's a very similar exercise in terms of the internal workings of your legs. So yeah, I kept that up, and I was trying to do that 2-3 times a week when I could, and then uni started, so it was more like once or twice a week. But anyway, the Pilates was really great. So then I've been following Sarah's Day for a while on Instagram. I find her kind of interesting. She's got a baby just a few months older than mine, and so it was really awesome watching somebody go through all the steps of things that I was going through just a few months ahead of me. So I really enjoyed that. And she is a lifestyle vlogger, and so she has her own exercise workout, and so the other day I finally caved and bought it. So I've been doing that, which is the videos that you've been seeing. So in that routine of hers, there's like, it's all jumping, and I actually didn't really think to check out what the routines were before I bought it, but it's like really hardcore jumping, and I didn't even think about doing it. I just started doing them and then was like, oh my God, I'm jumping and I'm not leaking. Like, this is incredible. But I realized that there's certain ways to jump as well. Like if I landed too heavy, it felt like I could feel the weakness of my muscles. But if I was controlling the jump and just kind of totally physically aware of what I was doing, or mindful of what I was doing, then there was no problem. And so then today, I looked at the workout today, and it was like really light on the exercises, and then it says do a 1.5k run, come back, do a few more exercises, do a 1.5k run, and I was like, I can't do it, shit, I don't know what to do. And not I don't know what to do, like obviously I could just do another exercise routine, but I kind of just pushed myself. I thought, okay, you've been jumping without even thinking twice about it this week, which is awesome. Just try it. Just try the run. The worst that's going to happen is you wet yourself, you're in the bush, no one's going to see you, tie the jump around your waist, walk home, have a shower, do some more exercise or whatever, like have a cry. That's the worst that can happen. So stakes aren't super high, really, I suppose. I mean, they are. No one wants to wet themselves in public. So I put my shoes on and just was thinking the whole time, and then started running uphill, which I think was easier because you're not putting the pressure of running downhill. I'll be interested to see what going downhill is like, but started running, and I'm running, and I can feel that if I land too heavy, if I pushed it too hard, like I would, and again, just wasn't mindful of the running, I can feel like my pelvic floor is still really weak, but I'm running for the first time in 2 years. I am just so happy, and so this is a big part of the journey. Like this is like, this feels like a throwback to the IVF journey. Like I am still on that journey. So these things, like they're deep and they're far reaching. It's not just doing the injections or like any of the bits along the way, or, you know, it's everything. It's such a big commitment to anybody who has fertility problems and then, you know, either does or doesn't manage to get pregnant. There's just so many far reaching things to discuss. So, all right, let me be clear. I'm not like galloping, running at an incredible pace. I am like slowly, lightly jogging. Now I'm going downhill and it's quite hard, but I'm still doing it. It's just like I can feel the muscles. Something else to mention is that I didn't want to start running and pushing anything physically too hard, because I know it doesn't happen to everybody, but I have heard of women having prolapse quite late after having the baby, like a month after having the baby. So I had those thoughts in my head, and I didn't want to be one of those women who just pushed it too hard. And although in pre-baby life I was so happy to push my body to its absolute limit any time, and felt very confident doing that because I'm very in touch with my body and I exercise all the time and I eat healthy and I know it very well. You can turn around. That scared the shit out of me. Like the idea of doing more damage at a time when you're already weak, you're already kind of feeling a bit scared and alone and like unsure of what's going on with your body. So a big part of it was that I didn't want to push it and damage it more. So Scout's almost 10 months old now, and I feel quite confident having like left it that long. It feels good to have left it that long, even though there are like so many days that I've just thought like, gosh, you're so lazy, like work a bit harder, you know, you should be exercising more or doing more. But I just tried so hard to like take my foot off the gas and just sit in that uncomfortableness of my pre-baby ambitious body work and just be comfortable kind of going, when I'm healed, it's going to be better. Like, this is not forever. Life is long. Let yourself heal. So that's just a side note for anybody who has just had a baby and is concerned about getting back to their pre-baby body. Just like, take it slow. There's no rush. Just do you. Alright, I've now been running for 2.9 kilometers. I'm starting to feel my pelvic floor getting weak, i.e. I might piss myself. And by piss, I don't mean I'm just like going to piss everywhere. It's just like it feels weak, like you might leak. So that might be a combination of my bladder getting fuller and that I haven't worked them out this hard in 2 years. Well, not even 2 years, like especially since I had the baby. So almost 10 months. I'm just going to walk for a little bit and then I'm going to maybe jog the last little bit home. But even if this is all I did, I'm so happy. It's a start. So the reason I'm adding this onto the end of the video is because I'm not just like suddenly miraculously back to where I was 2 years ago. I'm like, okay, this is really exciting. I can get my heart rate up. I can go for a little jog. It's not even about getting the heart rate up. I mean, it is, but it's just like, it's just the running. I love running. So yeah, I'm not even feeling down that I can't run all the way home. Maybe I am. I'm feeling a little bit like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm human. So if I'm sharing my feelings honestly, yes, I'm feeling a little bit bummed that I like am not exactly back to where I was 2 years ago. But it's a start. And this is what compromise and understanding life looks like, I suppose. So, I'm walking again, but not defeated. Looking forward to the next run. Alright, so just to 100% confirm that I had run quite far away from home on like the 3Ks, and it was just way too ambitious. I totally was like, I'm gonna run for ages. So I can't keep running because I think my bladder's too full now. So I am walking the whole 3K home. Yeah, so the other thing to mention is just like how sensitive everything still kind of is for me down there. So front and back, everything just, I don't know if I just pushed too hard when she was coming out, but it's been a really slow, long process to heal. And when I say process, like I'm not doing anything, it's just my body. So yeah, if you know someone who's had a baby, just go easy on them because they're probably still healing. It's big. Like Scout's 10 months tomorrow and I still feel like I'm recovering from the birth. So that's worth kind of keeping in mind, especially, you know, if you want to share with your partners and just say, look, see, other people are still recovering. It's a long, slow recovery process. Another really big one for me is that my boobs are 2 different sizes, and not because I fed more on one side or the other. It's like one boob makes heaps of milk, the other one makes almost none, and it's really embarrassing. And if I wear any kind of revealing top, you can and not a bra that's just squishing them into the place, they just look completely different. And it's interesting because I do remember now that when we were in hospital on the first few nights after Scout's birth, she only wanted to feed on one side, and then I don't remember favouring that. I remember swapping really often, but just at some point they just got wildly out of proportion, and I am vigilant. I'll start her on the good boob just to get the milk flowing on both sides, but as soon as I can, I'll swap her over to the other side, and she just doesn't suck as hard. And it's just, anyway, they're just completely different sizes. And when I pump, after this I was pumping, and I would get 100 mil, is that right? I'd get a lot of milk. Anyway, I'll try and put a photo up. I get a lot of milk out of one boob and heaps less out of the other. So it genuinely just isn't providing much milk. I'm really worried to know whether that's going to keep, whether that will look like that after I stop feeding, or whether they'll go back to the same size. I'm really hoping that the big one doesn't stretch out too far. So I'm moisturising it a little bit, but I also don't want to put too much moisturiser on or around my boobs in case it's not good for her while she's breastfeeding. Okay, so another post-baby body thing is that I eat so much more than I used to eat. And it's dropping off a little bit as maybe I've dropped a feed, Scout's dropped a feed or two. But basically, yeah, you just become a bottomless pit. And again, having had heaps of body issues, you'd think that would really freak me out. Yeah. I'm just so hungry. I'd wake up, and if I don't have a piece of toast immediately, I'll just lose it. I cannot. And usually I would be fine to be someone who get up and have a cup of tea and just get on with the day for a while and smash a bunch of work out and da-da-da-da. It's no, nothing happens until I have something in my mouth first. So that's really interesting, and I'm really curious to see how I've transitioned out of that once the breastfeeding stops. Is my brain gonna still keep thinking that I need to eat and then I'll be overeating, or will it just kind of balance itself out? So I don't know. And then the other thing to talk about is the skin on my belly is different, although it didn't stretch with stretch marks. It's now, it's almost more now the skin that's on your hand. I mean, not quite, but see how it kind of folds, as opposed to if you grab that and it's just kind of flesh like that. It's it actually folds because there's extra skin. Every now and then that does get me a bit down. I look at it and I'm ugh, there's so much skin. But at the same time you stand up and you don't really notice it and it's fine. So it's just kind of, I look at it and I get excited for having the next baby and that it's going to stretch again. And I love that it held Scout. But yeah, it's confronting that your body changes. Probably not quite a post-baby body thing, but something worth mentioning is that after when Scout was 3 months old, I decided I went to a witch doctor-y kind of person because Scout was vomiting heaps and I didn't want to put her on the drugs that they give you, because I've heard that really... Yes, got it, it's a mosquito. Because I've heard they can really hurt, disrupt the gut biome. So I didn't want to put her on the drug. Yeah, this guy just said, come off immediately off any form of cocoa, cacao, soy, fried food, milk, gluten, vinegar, pickles and olives and stuff like that, and sugar. A kind of really basic list, but also a really difficult list, half the staples. I'm already gluten-free. He just was give up the sugar and the caffeine and the soy and all of that immediately, and she'll stop you'll see it. And I wouldn't say she stopped vomiting, but she reduced her vomiting down to maybe a third of what it had been, which was huge because she was vomiting so much. So that was a big thing for my body, which was making that decision. And when she was 3 months old, I was dependent on my vegan chocolate. Oh, and the alcohol was the other one that he said. I was trying to just not be too harsh on myself and just be and just try and do that stuff that people say, which is not put too much pressure on yourself. So I was having a glass of wine every now and then, have my coffee in the morning, and this chocolate that was keeping me alive and stuff. And he said, give that up. And it was if you can stop your baby vomiting by your behaviour, you're going to do anything you can. So I just cut everything out that day, which probably helped my body actually regain its shape so quickly as well, which was amazing. Yeah, and it really helped her vomiting. So I think that diet has been an amazing post-baby diet. The fried food I wasn't too concerned about. I'd have hot chips every now and then, but basically, yeah, I was eating fried eggs and stuff, but yeah, I just took that to mean like deep fried gross food. I didn't ask. So they are some of my major changes in my body and things that I've dealt with. Pelvic floor being a really big one, and the hair loss being the other really big one. And then just a whole world of front and back, downstairs, pain and discomfort and healing and coming back together, which has been challenging and confronting, but just something you got to go through, I suppose, and I'm sure not everybody goes through it, but it's definitely been a journey for me. Thanks so much for listening, and as always, like and comment, hit subscribe, and I will tell you more about me in the next video. Bye.